Hi everyone, my name is Micah McLean and I'm the creator of Micah McLean Talks. Today you are watching my interview with Coco Brown. Please remember to like, share, subscribe and comment, and I hope you enjoy the interview. Coco Brown, it's just such an honor to have you on the platform. You've achieved so much throughout your career, from your featuring in Britain's Got Talent to starring in Tyler Perry's For Better or Worse to starring in 911, Ted 2. You've even been in the documentary Dying Laughing with the likes of Kevin Hart, Jamie Foxx, and many other well-known people in comedy, including Chris Rock, being a very successful stand-up comedian yourself, in addition to your acting career. So thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
So the first question I wanted to ask you is that you are a very talented comedian that rose to prominence when you featured in the second season of America's Got Talent. When did you when did you discover you were really good at comedy?
It was a friend of mine that put me in a position to go on a stage and try stand up for the first time. And it's funny, humor to me was more of a defense mechanism growing up, and so I hated stressful and, tension and things like that. So for me, I would always go to doing something funny or cracking a joke. So I guess I realized I was funny at an early age. I just never thought in a million years I could get paid to be funny. Yeah.
And your story on America's Got Talent was very powerful because you actually left the corporate world to go into stand-up comedy.
Yes.
So how did you, kind of balance it to kind of like follow your dreams as opposed to doing something that you weren't necessarily as passionate about?
Well, honestly, I would have to say that my old boss, Suzanne McDermott, made that decision for me. She came and saw me perform at a show. And when I came to work that Monday, she fired me.
Oh, wow.
And she told me that I was too talented to be in that cubicle. She gave me a severance and sent me on my way.
Wow.
Yep.
How amazing. So, that's amazing.
Sam McDermott.
And you've rose to prominence in Hollywood. You've acted in so many well-known films, including Ted 2. You've acted in The Single Moms Club, which people in my family watch on repeat. So I'd like to ask you, please tell us about your rise up in Hollywood and some of the challenges you faced along the way.
I came into the business before social media, before all of this popularity that you could just gain off of a 1 minute clip on, Instagram. When I came in the business, you had to really prove yourself and prove your worth. Excuse my son, he's getting ready for football practice. So when I came in the business, I really had to prove myself. There was I couldn't put up a 30-second video and then boom, be famous tomorrow because it went viral. So, I went through the trenches of it all, sending out headshots, trying to get an agent, trying to get a manager, auditioning like crazy, taking classes, trying to be in the right place at the right times, meet the right people. So, it's been a process, but I wouldn't trade it for anything. These new babies, they got it pretty dang easy. All they got to do is make the right video and it go viral and they can be on somebody's sitcom tomorrow. Where I come from, you had to work for that spot. So I take pride in my journey because I know I worked for it. You know what I'm saying? And I went through the processes. I went through the trenches. Some of the most challenging is, not letting them typecast you. When I came off of the Tyler Perry run, they wanted to typecast me as just the fat, funny sidekick. Well, I lost a bunch of weight. And they were like, wait, she ain't fat no more. But I still was funny. So luckily for me, it took people like, you're going to turn that down because I'm doing an interview, okay? I have to turn that down, sweetheart, put your headphones in. I either had to And luckily for me, it took people like the late great John Singleton, and just recently Denise Dowse passed away, actor, producer, director Stan Shaw. They saw in me that I was more than just funny, and they spoke life into that. So luckily for them, it never let me get pigeonholed and typecast as per se. Now, I am getting more roles as mothers and a matriarch, and I'm like, hey, I'm with it. That means I'll keep working for quite some time. So I'm here for it. Look, you're talking about something's hard, right? Ain't nothing hard, baby. You got it made. You got a degree. You're a partner in the business. You good. You bounce back. Shoot, try raising 2 kids by yourself, one in college and a daddy that won't do nothing for neither one of them.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Do you see me complaining?
No, I don't.
Right.
Hey, wait. Wait, where are your kids?
My daughter's in college and Tommy's at band camp.
Band camp?
Hmm?
What?
I'm assuming you went.
I did. It was great. Did you?
Boy, please, no. I was too busy trying to find somewhere to live.
Oh, girl, I'm talking about when you were a kid.
No, not when I was a kid. Not much of a childhood here, honey. I've been on my own since I was 13.
Wait, what?
Yep.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, pretty much I have.
You never say that.
You never asked.
Well, I mean, why? What was going? Why?
I mean, this is a little embarrassing. Okay, my mother was on dope, my daddy was in and out of jail, and me and my sister got bounced around a lot of foster homes. So I pretty much had to grow up pretty fast, okay? And, I'm pretty much the only one in my family that made something of herself, and I'm proud of it, I mean, it may not be much, but it's mine, it's decent, and it's honest. And I'd like to go back to bed in my decent and honest home. So could you get the hell out of my room now?
Thank you so much for that. And you've really defied the odds, as it were, because you did an interview with Fox Soul that I found very inspirational as to how you challenged the stereotypes that came with being, a plus size Black woman in Hollywood.
Yeah.
How did you battle those stereotypes to become the successful person you are today?
Honestly, I always try to, a lot of times when you are not considered the leading lady or leading man type, they like to make you almost a character. They almost try to make you like buffoonish or just over the top extra. And for me, I always try to make my characters, even the funny, silly, goofy ones, I've always been very adamant about making them real and not some kind of stereotype. Adding that realness to it, that you're laughing with me and at me. You understand what I'm saying? So that's why, that's pretty much my method of just always trying to come in and bring something real, even if it's a piece of me, a piece of someone I know, an experience, something that makes it touchable, makes it tangible, makes people go, I know this person, and I'm just not some character or like cartoon character.
Thank you so much. And even following on from that, you've even done another interview with Breakfast Club, which I actually found really interesting. So I thought it was brilliant, your points, everything that you made, but you also were discussed stuff about your personal life, including your split with your ex-husband and your dating life. So my advice to you, because you gave sound advice throughout that whole interview, but there's a lot of young people that will be watching this.
Okay.
And one thing I wanted to ask you is, how would you advise people who are struggling to heal from a breakup?
Take all the time you need. For being born every day. You ain't gonna okay. Take your time to heal. After my divorce, I took almost a decade to heal. I had to unpack all my crap. And I had to take a hard, good look at myself, because bottom line is I chose it. I saw the signs and I chose to ignore them. And I put up the stuff that I shouldn't have. And I could point the finger all day long at him. But in the bottom line was I decided to take that ride, and I don't regret it whatsoever because I got the most beautiful thing out of it. I got my son. But take time to heal. I know some people, they heal by jumping from person to person. If that's your method, go right ahead. It just wasn't mine. And if you keep encountering the same crap over and over again, it's time for you to do some self-work. Unpack the box, get into it. So that's the best thing I can offer to anybody. Take all the time you need and whatever works for you, as you can get on the other side of that hump. And you can hear that sad song or that person names can be mentioned and it doesn't faze you. Do what you gotta do.
Thank you so much for that. And even following on from that, I've even seen from your Instagram, your son's a budding American football star, from what I can see from.
I don't know where we're going right now. He don't want to play no more because they're kicking his butt.
But even following on from that, you talked about the positive male figures in your son's life.
Absolutely.
How important has that been to you, and why?
I mean, very important. Yes, I can raise my son into a man, but I shouldn't have to. And I've been fortunate that I have some incredible brothers in my life that are either related to me or not, that have come up and fill that void, being that, because there's certain things, mommy's mommy, and I can try to give him all the game and knowledge and wisdom, but I've realized it hits different when it comes from another man.
Yeah.
So I'm just happy that I have that reinforcement from my brothers that when I'm not seemingly getting through, I can give them the situation and somehow they have the ability to get through. And I know it's a man thing. It's a testosterone thing. I get it. And there's just certain things that even if I can teach my son the basics. I can teach him how to love a woman, treat a woman, all of that. But there's just certain things he needs to learn from another man.
Mm.
Grateful. I tell anybody that's a single parent, especially if they have boys or even girls, just find, if you are lacking that other parent, try to find some positive influences that give them, it won't fill the void, but it'll definitely fill it up some.
Thank you. That was really, really powerful. And even following on from that, celebrities such as Marcus Mumford and Zachary Levi have talked about their personal struggles with mental health. You're now rising in Hollywood like crazy. You're taking on all of these roles.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone has an opinion on, what a role should look like, what person's. And I've seen it play out all over the media from all the people I've interviewed. How do you protect your mental health while juggling the challenges that come with being a celebrity?
It used to be a time that I could feel my mental health getting a little shaky, and I would work myself through it. Mm-hmm. I would take on more gigs and more responsibilities and more things. I would fill that with things. You know what I mean? As I've older, I've learned that sometimes I just need to detach, have that moment, maybe even cry it out, shout it out, get through it, and then go on the other, get on the other side of it. It's a struggle sometimes because, as a female in this business, it can get pretty lonely. Men act like I'm going to take them on stage. I didn't realize that a lot of men are very insecure and they're like, what can I do for you? So it's hard to have a healthy relationship in this business when you're a woman, especially a single mom. I can't just bring any and everything around my kid. So I have to be very active. So it can get real lonely at times. And when you're lonely and you're alone in those hotel rooms, I've left a sold out show of 2,000 people to come to an empty hotel room and just be like, okay, this is not right. So sometimes those voices get in your head and they start messing with you, and you got to learn how to silence those voices. And sometimes you just got to detach, and sometimes you just got to cry it out, shout it out, do whatever you got to do. So I do whatever works for that moment. When I feel myself kind of going down that rabbit hole, I do whatever I need to do to get me out of it, or that I don't go down too far.
Thank you. just for talking about that, because even in the UK with young people, there's a huge mental health crisis. So that advice would resonate with them a lot.
Do whatever you do to not go down the rabbit hole. You're gonna call it. It's inevitable, but don't go all the way down that you can't get back out. Do whatever needs to be done. Now I'm not saying go out here and do drugs. I'm not saying go out here and be no alcoholic. I'm not saying go out here and be promiscuous and try to sleep through it. Find other alternatives that are healthy for you, not just physically, but mentally and emotionally. And if you don't, and if you can't, find somebody who has and latch on to them. They'll teach you how.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And
You're welcome.
I actually watched a Netflix documentary, Dying Laughing. And when I saw you on there, I was just so happy just to hear, about all of the things you all were doing.
Part of that. Totally honored to be a part of that.
And yeah, definitely deserved. So what do you enjoy most about being a comedian?
Now it's the freedom of being able to vent and purge and release whatever emotions are in me. For me, the others, sometimes a lot of times I've taken my depression or my hurt or disappointment on that stage, and I've made myself laugh at it. And it's very healing and cathartic. And honestly, what I love about comedy stand-up used to be, I'd be on stage like the donkey in Shrek, pick me, hoping they would see me and give me a shot. Well, I got my shot. I'm good. I'm working. So now it's become more of my therapy. It helps me get through things, to go on stage and talk about it and laugh at it and have people laugh with me at it. So, stand-up right now for me is my therapy, honestly.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And even talking about your amazing career, you starred in Tyler Perry's For Better or Worse, and you were actually a fan favorite, and it was a very popular TV show. So what advice would you give to an aspiring actor or actress that is struggling to get into television or film? Where could they start from? How could they get involved?
Well, first of all, be somewhere where they're making TV and film. It used to be a time that it was just New York or LA, but that's not the case anymore. They make a lot of stuff in Chicago, a lot of stuff in Atlanta, stuff in North Carolina, South Carolina, New Orleans shoots 1,000 shows. Be somewhere where they're shooting, where they're making what you want to do, TV and film. And a lot of times in these cities, they're right to work states. So you can work on union or non-union projects, which is a blessing. And you can submit yourself. There are plenty of sites that you can get on to upload your headshot, upload your resume, and submit yourself. You get enough bites and you do enough work, and agents and managers will come for you. So first order of business, be somewhere they're making TV and film, okay?
Thank you so much for that.
Welcome back. If you need some funny in your weekend, a big-time headliner is headed to Cleveland to improv.
You will both report here after school to do some unpaid labor in the office.
Like an internship?
No, like a punishment. You're in trouble.
You might recognize Coco Brown from the popular Netflix show Never Have I Ever, where she plays Principal Grubb. Well, she's perfecting her famous enough stand-up act at the Improv this weekend. She says it's the dress rehearsal before she shoots a 1-hour Netflix special with the same name next week. I talked to her this afternoon just before she heads into town.
I love Cleveland crowds. They show so much love. I've always had such a great time whenever I've done the improv there. I mean, the crowds are incredible. The people of Cleveland are incredible. So I look forward to doing this with you, because I know that you guys are going to be so honest with me and tell me, yeah, that joke works. No, don't do that one.
This is it, her last stop before she tapes, right? Coco Brown is here through the weekend with shows starting tomorrow night, and you can find more information at wkyc.com/frontrow.
And I'd also like to ask you, currently you're in the process of writing your autobiography.
Yes.
I'm really excited to read it when it comes out and get my copy, but I just wanted to ask you, what types of topics, like I'm not going to ask you to tell us everything about the book, but what kind of topics and themes will you be maybe discussing, maybe a couple, if you can talk about any of them?
It's going to talk about how this little insecure, chubby girl from Newport News, Virginia, became this sought-after comedian and actress, and how she had to get to a point that she believed in herself just as much as others believed in her. You know, it's for every little girl or boy out there that had outside forces telling them, no, not you, you can't do it. And how I broke that curse. I broke that generational curse, and I lived my dream. I'm living my dream. It talks about some of the things that I've endured and I've healed from, things that I'm continuously healing from. It talks about me trying to date and navigate the, you know, being a single mom and raising my son and trying to date with that, you know, and how I look at the dating world right now. It talks about me as a parent, you know, and, you know, how I view you know, raising my son. It's basically, you're getting a ride from me at the tender age of maybe 8 all the way to now. So, you know, it just explains who is Coca Brown, who is Farrah Coca Brown.
Wow. And can we expect a release date? What time, you know, what time roundabout the release?
Right now, Mother's Day of 2023. That's
Wow.
the date that we have, Mother's Day of 2023.
It's really exciting. And just following on from that, just another question. You've been talking a bit about your dating life, but what advice would you give to somebody who is dating to have a spouse or future partner? What advice would you give to them?
Communicate. Close. Communicate.
Oh, because
and communicate with the person you have the issue with. Stop keeping your relationship problems outside of your relationship.
Yeah.
Let's get back to keeping some things private. Everything doesn't need to be on social media, because in all actuality, all them little people in bots don't really care. So how to focus on the person in front of you. Okay?
Thank you. And the last question I'd like to ask you is, please tell us about any projects you're working on in 2022, 2023, if you can, because I know that sometimes.
Well, just this past Saturday, the new season of Never Have I Ever on Netflix dropped. So if you guys are Never Have I Ever fans, please head over to Netflix and check season 3 out, or watch the entire season 1, 2, and 3. I played Grubs on that show, and I've had a blast. I'm getting a lot of great comments because Principal Grubs is off the chain this season. So make sure you guys check that out. You guys can also check me out on a new show that's coming to Apple TV called Big Door Prize with Chris Dowd and Gabrielle Dennis. So make sure you guys check that out. It's going to be coming out, I do believe, this fall. I just finished a new movie called Praise This, executive produced by Will Packer. That stars Chloe from Chloe and Haley. So make sure you guys check that out when that comes out. That's coming to Peacock TV next year. And am I forgetting anything? Oh, 911. We're shooting the new season now. So look for Nurse Carla. She's coming back, and catch up on our other seasons on Fox.
Thank you so much for such
You're
a
so
brilliant interview.
welcome. Doing stand up anywhere, just go to my website, CocaBrown4life.com.
Thank you so much, Coco, and I wish you all the best in your career, and thank you.
You're so welcome. Thank you for having me, darling.
Nothing would be dating. So can I ask, how has your dating life been over the past year?
Non-existent? Oh, look.
Oh no!
You know, it's hard. It was hard enough when you're dealing with, you know, trying to go out with people, but now you're like really stepping up the ante and saying, okay, you got to FaceTime me. I got to see you in your element, and I have to watch your facial expressions. You can't just text me and expect me to figure out what you mean in 38 characters or less. I got to look at you, and you know, that's when you really get to see people, you know, up close and personal on a FaceTime. I mean, I noticed guys that I had been talking to didn't have any side teeth. I said, I didn't know you were missing all your molars, you know. So I mean, it's been a little difficult to say the least, but it's making you have to get to know people. You can't just rely on instant chemistry. You have to get to know someone.